On this episode of One Man, One Hand, and No Real Plan, we take a seat and learn some new tricks. I don't know if you noticed my new sweatshirt, but I had these made for Christmas and I gave them to my family and stuff, but I think they turned out pretty spiffy. I doubt anyone's interested. If you are, shoot me a message and maybe we can print enough to, if you want to buy one, we can sell you one or do something. But I thought they were fun. It's a big thank you to all my families. With that, I really want to thank everyone who's taken the time to subscribe, to watch, to give me a thumbs up, to do all that kind of stuff, because it does make, I mean, I know I'm not a big channel, I'm not a professional, I'm not doing anything spectacular, but it does make it fun to see that people watch it and enjoy it. And so I just wanted to say thank you as we do that. I've been busting my hump on getting the other side done, and at least to where the door hinges and stuff, and I've got both doors hinging now. And the main reason is I'm sick and tired of working on doors. You're sick and tired of watching me work on doors. And I really want to do something different. And with that, I'm going to try and get the seats mounted and get our steering. It's been mocked up, but I'm not sure how it's going to lay out when I actually have two chairs in here, two seats. And so we're going to get the seats mounted and make sure they fit all up in there as much as we can. It's going to be tight. And then we're going to get our steering finalized and do that. And so, and we'll see what else we get done. But that's the two main goals, is to try and get our steering finished and to get our seats mounted. With that, we probably need some seats. Accio seat! Accio seat! Hello, seat. Now if I just knew the spell to install them. Oh, why didn't I listen in school? I should have listened in school. Oh. I should have listened in school.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Now, before I get the seat out of the box, I'm going to clean this area up so that when I'm putting them out, even though I'm not going to unwrap them, I'm going to keep them protected. I don't want them getting dirty or any sort of metal into the fabric and stuff. So I'm going to clean this up and then bring the seats out, and we'll get the seat bases on and go from there. So I got to looking, and the ship date, I've had these seats for a long time, but I didn't realize I ordered them in May of 17. So, you know, these are some Corbeau seats, Corbeau, I don't know how you say it. And they're seats, they're supposed to be nice. Headrests, which I don't need right now. Oh. All right. Okay. Now this, I don't remember. Essentially, I bought tan leather Corbeau. We'll go with Corbeau. Corbeau seats. And I bought just a simple seat mount from Speedway. And I'm not unwrapping these seats, but I want to mount them because it's going to be a minute before they're ready to be unwrapped, and I want to keep them as safe and as clean as possible. So I'm simply going to find the mounting hardware and mount up our seats. So I've looked through all the stuff I have, and I don't think I have an adjuster for the passenger seat. It must just be wherever it gets mounted. So we're gonna open this up and get this base. First I'm gonna wipe it off because seriously, trying to preserve these stupid seats. I really don't want to mess them up now. We'll wipe them up, wipe up that frame. We'll untie the bag here. All I'm trying to do is get to, there's a bolt here, there's a bolt there, and a bolt there. I want to get to where I can mount to them, but I don't want to expose the actual fabric any sooner than I have to. There's our actual leather seat. I went with tan. It's going to be, I'm planning to paint the truck my wife's favorite color, which is a real dark green. And because honestly, I don't have a favorite color. I don't give a shit. I like what I like and I like what I like. So if it's her favorite color and she likes it and she'll let me spend all of our money on this, then I'll go ahead and paint it that color. No, I don't care. So now, this guy, yeah, looks like the front matches up, but the back does. Oh, well, none of it matches up. Hooray. I would guess that this is front, the taller side's front, and it sits back. So in looking at this, I really think maybe the easiest way, since none of this lines up, lay out a strap for each one and then tack it to our seat riser and make it sit flush. This is, we'll go a little past, so 15 inches on each side. We'll use our 1-inch strap bar. We'll just cut 2 pieces 15 inches, but we're looking for, oh, where'd I put my pen? Ah, it ran away. Run away. Run away. Run away. We'll do, well, maybe 15, 30. Let me grab my Pretty People Need a Full Face Shield, complete with scratch and dent front. So here are the 2 holes I'm mounting.
And in the future, if I want to say something funny or witty or do an impression, I will no longer ever do any of those things.
Does that include that's what she said?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I've got this eyeballed about the same distance over each one, and I'm just simply marking where that is. So that gives me that one. Gives me that one. And then we'll do the same thing over here, marking the center and the center. And I've got my spots to drill a hole. Just that easy.
That's what she said.
Michael, please.
One. I like to kiss it and see if it's where I want it before I really drill. Look at that, they're the same. Take and put these in. Looks like I need to fudge it just a little. So I'm gonna make this hole a little bigger. The old step bit. May have to set her down. I apparently grabbed the worst bit I have. Hooray. I don't know. Do not know. Woo, that's hot. And smoking. Look at that. It fit. First try. Woo! First try!
Wham! Kazap! First try.
Okay. Try and hold it even. I put that up to that like savvy. Get out of the way. You'll be right there. You'll be right there. This is front, right, front, or rear, right. This is front, left, and this one is rear, left. I wonder I couldn't just, if I clean these out, I'll just take the die grinder and clean that, and I bet I can tack them. I probably need to clean a little bit of this foot to get a good ground, but then I could just tack it on. Well, I don't know if I want to do that on the seat. All right, let's get the welder. Hopefully those hold. We can bolt them up. Dang it. Okay. Ooh. All right, it's on its back. Ooh, still hot.
It's because you're a dumbass.
1, 2, 3, and to the 4. 4. Look at that. There. That'll let us test fit and see how things work. Sweet. Now we just got to pick it up and put it in there. Well, shit the bed. How did I do that? I put it on upside down, right? Yeah, I did. Hooray. Woohoo! Now let's try it. Bet that was loud. Okay. There, good enough. Now, So if I have this one, oh, that's right there. I'm not hitting the door or nothing. So I need to grab the drivers and put it in and see where it's sitting. Hopefully you can see just how small this is inside. There is not a lot of room. There's not a lot of room for extracurricular activities. Now, I had previously ballparked this just because I wanted to get the brakes and stuff mounted to the firewall and get the firewall in and do that kind of thing. And so I already had the riser on this seat. They're not big. And I can't get out of it. So perfect for an old man. Sorry, I just don't have a very big garage. So it's kind of hard to get far enough away. What I'm going to do here is put this, that's touching the back wall, and this looks to be right about where that door is going to shut. And let me do the same thing. Oh, that one's tilted further back. So if I put it about even, and then slid it over, that is probably the biggest gap we'll have. I'm mostly worried about the driver's seat, but I needed to see how much room there was over here. Yeah, that'll work. Perfect. Now that door's shut, so I know I can't push it too far. I went the wrong way. When I have everything propped open and stuff, I can only go around one way. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I had the steering wheel too far this way. Not a big deal. Wonder if I can show that. Oops. This is right in front of my face on the camera. So my center is here. And so I need to move this wheel that way in order to feel like it's a comfortable driving position. We can do that. I just got to unbolt what I did and then slide it to where I like it and then move it. The other thing is, every time I get out, I move it. So I brought some markers with me. I feel like I'd have room here for a door. I mean, because the door skin will be right here. I feel like I got room. I can kind of see. I feel straight. Feel like I could drive here. I mean, it feels pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a foot and I'm going to mark it. I'm going to fill the circle in, and I'm also going to try and draw a green line around it so I can put it back where it was. And then if I do this one back here, I should be able to have a square mark to recenter it and then mark my holes better, because I'll never reach that side with only that's one thing. Like, I can't reach down on this side while sitting in the chair because I have to reach across my body. This is why I hate drive-thrus. This is why I hate ATMs and all that you drive up, because I have to get so close. I have to unbuckle and I have to lean all the way out just to get the stuff. And I've hit a few poles. I mean, on the, you know, the little yellow things don't hit our window, and I'm trying to get as close as I can. And I'm like, whoopsies, because I need to be as close as I can possibly get, because that's not going to do me any good. So we got those two marked, and let's see if we can figure out where our holes go. I drew a green square around each foot, and then I can put the feet back and it'll sit where it was. I can mark the holes, and then we can figure out how we're going to mount them. Let's mark the rest of them. Oh. Okay, so you should be able to see the 4 feet we marked. Our hole for this one somewhere right in that area. But you can see I originally had this in and I was off. I just guessed where I might want it. I didn't have doors. I didn't have anything. That's what happens when you don't know what you're doing. You just try stuff and then you have to fix it later. But that's all right. That's how you learn. Underneath here is nothing. This one's right, feels like it's right on a floored joist. I have 1x1, whatever standard 1-inch tubing thickness is. I mean, drill a hole, run a bolt through it. I tried to get all fancy and sink them and have welded in, and I don't know if that's worth the pain or not. This thing's not going mudding. Let's just drill a hole, see what happens. I'm going to start with a 5/16. Boom, that's good. We're in our heavy duty steel underneath in all 3. So we will definitely take that. Get this out of the way. Ow. Splinters.
It's because you're a dumbass.
I think I am going to go a little bit bigger than 5/16 and run a little bit bigger bolt. So I've got the seat mounted enough that it's located. There, I grabbed some more light. All right. So I just booger weld these 2 tabs to try and give it a location and put it together. And I knew I was going to end up moving it. So I made just sort of a temporary place for all of this to sit. And what I want to do now that I know where the seat's going is obviously unbolt that tab. We'll get it out of the way. We might just undo all of that and cut all that old stuff off, and then come back in, get it where we want, and set up a better framework. And I've also got some bolts that are designed to slide that came with the column. I want to use those to make those work. So this is just the factory mount, and I cut it and put a tab on it because it was way too big for what we're doing now. But I do, now that I know where it's going and we're going to put this together for the final, well, we're going to make the actual assembly, then I definitely want to have this be installed much better than what it is right now. And I'm going to use the sliding nuts that are designed. Whoop, there it goes. Whoop, there it goes. Okay. There. Now it can slide. Yay. So, where do we actually want this thing? That's the real question. It's weird to sit in here and have it not slide around. I shortened the factory column and it's got the same, I mean, it works the same. I just cut it down a little bit. These are those S10 headers that allow the V8 swap, and the column will go through there, and then we've got a joint there, and then it's just down into our Mustang steering. And this is going to be rack and pinion. It should be a lot nicer. Normally the steering would be back here and it'd be right in the way for where we needed it, because, well, the original S10 engine used to sit way up here and my mounts are way back here. We shoved it behind the front wheels and to get the right stance. I wanted to use a better steering than the S10 anyway. I've got plenty of room. That's what I was worried about. In fact, I would like it to come over more. You can see how close this is right there. So I just need to take these two out, and that takes that little spacer out. I was trying to figure out a way to do this when I put it in, that because I knew I wasn't in the right spot, but that I could make it semi-permanent without having to redo everything. I was trying to be nice, wants to be a turd, so we're gonna just go full turd on it. Hang a wrench and put a little effort into it. One. Nah, I actually was wrong. I need to take these two out too. It holds the back in. Well, that's not staying very good. So we'll use our friend the vice grip. I've shown that a million times, but they're a great second hand. What I do is clamp them on the nut usually, or whatever side I can get to. There it is. Now, we can slide that wherever we want. Oh no, we can't. Our brake pedal's in the way. Hooray. For those of you who haven't watched all the videos, this was originally for down on the floor, a kit to get power brakes down on the floor. And this is the pedal that would have gone down and through to the master cylinder below, but I don't have room to do that. And so I've just got it mocked in here because it's the same motion, pushes it that way. I just got to get the ratio right on length. This pedal isn't final. It's just, it is what it is. But it's in our way right now, and I'm thinking we're gonna just take it out. So let's try and get this thing out of there. And how I did it, I made this bracket removable right here, which I believe is a 1/2 inch. Or 7/16, because, you know. No, what the? Oh, this is 9/16. It's not a 1/2. That's my problem. There's my 1/2. We will probably improve all of this as we do it, just because everything's changing. You might as well make it nicer. I've learned a lot since I first started this. I live my life 1/4 turn at a time. What size is that? Nope, that's 9/16. Yay, we're prepared. There we go. And then that lets us take our pedal off. Now, but we can easily maneuver our column now. So now, if I get in here, get situated, maybe pick up my light. That is straight up and down, but that's pretty good for what we're looking for. That's about dead center, and right there. I know some people think those are ugly, but for sake of saving dash and all that space, I'm gonna run that. So that's the where. Let's figure out the how. So this is the bracket we took off that I had welded that tab to. Now this was the original GM, and as memory serves, this sat on here like this, and this sat on here like this. I would like to figure out how to utilize these and keep it in a good orientation for driving. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean up this garbage off here, and that's a weld you don't take home to meet your dad. But, you know, anyway, we're going to cut all that off, clean it up, and maybe just put it on and see where we will end up being. So let's get it cleaned up. Also, don't forget, we're still pretty. We still need a full face shield. So now that we've got this cleaned up-ish, I need to clean that up. I still need to cut that out, but more trying to figure out exactly how best to mock this up. So these guys, so they do sit like that. Now the problem is, clearly I have nothing to mount them to. So, do I bring them forward and mount them on here? And this is the permanent bar we put in. Do I want it? I don't want it in a single shear tab. That seems dangerous. Why don't we get this out of the way? God, I got my seats in here. I'll use my welding blanket and throw it over it, and then I'll cut them out. That'll work. Now we gotta double check all that again, because I obviously moved it. Oh yeah, I can take the steering wheel off. Forgot about that. I definitely don't want to right now. Whoopsies. I want a spacer in there. We'll use our little bracket we cut off. There. Yes, I'm pretending to drive. No, I don't care. One thing I'm worried about is I can't relocate this master cylinder. It is literally where it has to be on the firewall. And I only have, like, the hood comes down like right here. I've got this brace out of the way. I mean, this is where it goes. I'm worried about the steering column being directly underneath this, so I want to look at that. There is not a lot of width to work with. Vertically, we could go a lot, but, well, it's coming out just to it'd be the right of it now. I've got a couple of pedals that I've ripped off of other projects and other things at various points, and this is what I was wondering, is if it can go, if I can curve around that column and be underneath, then it would still be where I want it as far as that goes. This shape might be the closest. So let's see what it looks like. You know, something like this, I'm around the column. I mean, you'd have to fine tune it. Up top, and it's swinging, I apologize. You're almost centered on that, on our original brake mount, which would allow it to run straight. There we go. So it would allow it, that's where we've got a push. And then this is where we've got our brace set up. So we might be able, yeah, we can do that. That means whatever mount we end up using has to allow for that. So now let's start designing. Essentially, if I could bring that up and bolt it to the dash here, that would be ideal. That might be the smartest way to make everything work and still be safe. Got some clamps. Oh man, I should have grabbed a different style clamp.
But alas, the girly man is a formidable opponent.
And I'm just gonna eyeball it right there. Now we want the same thing on this side. More than anything. Okay. So what I'm doing is just getting, I want them to be in the same width as they would have been. We're just going to stretch it up here. And so I've marked where they are. Now we can drill a through hole. One. Gotcha. So I'm going to tap these out. There we are. One beautifully, hopefully, tapped hole. There. Oakley dokley. So now it goes straight to where they mounted on the width-wise before, and so we'll just build a bracket that goes back to there, weld it all together, and we have a new mounting bracket that's actually sturdy and can work. 3 1/4 by 4. That would bridge across here. I'm not going to be this low down. I do want to keep a little bit of this curve down, but we're going to be higher, and then go back to there, and then we'll pull that angle tight down into there and down into there. So it'll be a shape about like this, and it'll weld right up in there, and we'll be able to support it like that, and that will be perfect. Boom. I love it when a plan comes together. Still pretty. Still hot.
Is because you're a dumbass.
Now, before I finalize this in, I'm just checking to make sure that bracket's level. So I need to bend that down. That's going to take a hammer. Let's see if that's enough. See how that fits. Bend the tangs and now I'll show you what I'm fitting it. So I'm fitting it up in here. Oh, those need quite a bit more. I'll bend the tangs just a little bit more. Maybe what I need to do is tack these right here and then work on the back part. That might make it easier. So let me grab the welder. Now what we'll do is unbolt these, weld this up outside, cut those tangs off, and then I'll start bending and making sure everything's where it belongs for the back. I think that'll make it fit 100 times better than trying to do them both at the same time. And I'm after a good result. Something I can be proud of. hopefully it's starting to really make sense how we plan to finish all this. I think you'll agree this is much better than a single would be. And I'm thinking about like a little rib down here to make it a little stronger, but let's start matching it up real quick. You can see that footprint's a lot smaller that way. Bolt it up real quick. Thank you. Sometimes it's just a lot easier to build it in stages than it is to try and build it all at once. So that's too much of a bend, like quite a bit. So let me take that out. We'll use the old Fat Man adjustment. See if that got anywhere. A fair amount. I might just take it to the vise and do it real quick. I will be right back.
A few moments later.
I know what I need. I'm gonna trim this just a little because I'm catching that lip. And then I'm going to make a different kind of bend in it real quick. I'm gonna push it up and then come back down. Okay. I just trimmed the end off. Yay, so that fits in there. And what I want to do here is get a much better idea of where, like way back here is where it needs to bend. All right, I'm going to make that bend. The bend is where I need it to bend. Finally, it's just too severe of a bend. Not that my steering column is where it belongs. Okay, that's where I want to bend, but I got to bring it up the width of my finger. Oh, we're getting close now.
One eternity later.
I don't know, something doesn't seem right. I may have to come back to it. But I bent those tabs back out, and that helped get the angle solidified. So I'm going to tack it on the front and in the rear, and then take it apart and bend the tabs down and get everything ready, and then weld it all up. Okay. Holy cow. Well, that's mounted. So let me take that apart. We'll weld it up. I'll bring you along. So I've got this out and ready to weld. And I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these beads along the sides and then hammer this down. I think it'll make them go down a little bit easier. And then we'll see about maybe adding a little more bracing to it. But I'm going to put my mask on, weld it up, and see how it goes. Oh, crap. Ignore that. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to trim that and weld it better. But I'm going to cut this corner off just so it's not getting in the way of this hole right here. So what happened down there that I just cut that whole end off and we'll run a new pass is as I was going, the cap or the cover on the end of my nozzle slid forward. And I had a porosity right there, and it caused, just because my gas wasn't there shielding right. And so Just cut it out and we'll go back and weld an end over it. I'm going to do a little cleanup, and I'm thinking very seriously about just a little ridge right in there for each one of those. So we'll see. It may not be the prettiest, but this is absolutely going to be a lot better mount. I'm going to think about if I want to add a gusset across, or something across there. I kind of like the idea of having a weaker spot that's strong. It's got a crumple zone in the steering box, but I kind of wouldn't mind a little extra. It'll fold here instead of impaling me. Now for the moment of truth. Does it still fit? I think I'll start this guy. Maybe. Oh, be nicer to me. Hey. Well, those four went in still. Love it when a plan comes together.
I love it when a plan comes together.
That's pretty dang solid. Oh my. That ain't going no ways. Hot damn. Now, I am ecstatic with that. I feel like that's as strong as it was factory. It fits. That's super tight. Everything works. Tilt works. Heck yeah. Woo! And we should have plenty of room for our pedal to sneak right through here, for our brake right down here. Still using our existing build. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. All right, on to the next part. Now I've already kind of got it figured out. I think honestly moving this over makes this alignment much straighter, and I like it. Plus it gets me away from all of these obstacles. So our actual steering box is right here, our rack. We've got the couplers here to be able to snake everything through. I just had it lightly tacked together before because I didn't want to put it together permanently until I knew that it was going to work. So I think I'm going to take that screw out. There it is. Fixed it. Dropped it, but fixed it. So I bought this. It's got the right splice count to go on there. And then this universal, I'm gonna clean all of this stuff up real quick and clean all these old spot welds. I broke that one actually. Clean those up and make this look a lot nicer, and then come back and assemble it and see if it still fits. And this also is one I bought based on the spline count to sit in the end there. There. And it just, your set screw goes right into that. So let's clean all this up. Okay. That was a lot. Oh well. The idea is we've got the correctly splined universal joint that can go right on that guy. Oh, too many things in my hands. Okay. Okay. We also have the correctly splined universal joint that will go down to our steering, hook up to our steering. I don't know if you call it a box or what you call it, but it's a rack and pinion steering. Now, the thing I do need to figure out before I get super stuck is, okay, that's all the way right. So I'm going to mark a line and a line right there, or right. And now I've got to mark that 1, 2, so there it is. So that's 2.5. It's 2.5 turns. Right there is left. So dead center should be what? 1.25? Well, that's a half because I went from there to there. Basically, I should come over to here, huh? That should be the center right there. And that's right where I've got it. So now my rack, I should be in the center of my rack now. Who doesn't like to be in the center of a rack? Ha ha, ha ha. So now that needs to be in that groove right there. I've got everything cleaned up now so it can be welded. I think that was sitting in here like that. We need this one to go. Actually, might be easier to put this universal joint together like that, and then snake this end in like that. Ah, hell. No, they're just in there. They're not the right size bolts. Of course they're not. Okay, they're just there to hold it. That has got to lose quite a bit of distance. I would say probably at least that right there without even thinking about it. So we need to cut it right through there. Still pretty. One thing I do want to try and do is make this removable. For that to happen, I'm going to have enough slack that when that's all the way down, I can pull that out. And right now, I have not cut that much out. All right, let's go take a little more out. No, I didn't mark it. That was dumb. Another chunk's gonna bite the dust. Seems repetitive. But would I ever be able to get that off? I'm bottomed out. And I'm within, let's see how far I really am. Oh yeah, we got a lot of meat in there. So that was right at the base. So I'm gonna cut just like another quarter or so off and see if that'll fix it. I'll be right back. So I just nipped off a little bit, about a quarter, like I said, just to give us that little bit more travel we needed. Now, with this all the way in. Oh yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, damn it. Right there makes us rub on that suspension right there. And I think we are dangerously close to that. I think I need to modify this guy. Yeah, as I tighten that, it brings it into the suspension. Otherwise, I think we're okay, because that'll be up there, and that is good there. Not a lot of room for clearance. I think I need to redo that whole heim joints configuration. So I need a bracket. So I got bolts that tightened up this header, and when I get this shoved in there and in a good distance, I have good clearance there. So I'm going to throw a real quick tack on this down here, and then that'll show me where I need to build this support bracket to hold that. Because I can go all the way in, but I feel like it's too close to the bottom of the header. I think we'll give ourselves a little cushion there. So I'm going to fire up the welder and tack it. A little finagle. I don't want to, I like it right there, to be honest with you. So I could cut this and build something right here. There she be. That is our steering shaft, minus a bracket to stabilize it, but heck yeah. Woo! I apologize, but my microphone apparently turned off while we were recording. Here I'm just laying out the base of the bracket we're trying to build. There are 3 existing screw holes. Now I've got the metal I want, so I laid out the hole locations from our template and the width that we wanted for a rough cut. And as I start trying to fit it in, it's too wide, so it's hitting the upper A-arm. So then I have to trim that section out and make it a skinnier, sexier bracket. We like our brackets sexy around here. And then after that, I realized I had enough material there, and the way I wanted to mount the support heim joint, or stabilizing heim joint, I could bend it down with a little bit of heat and a little bit of persuasion. And so after that, it was a matter of marking the holes, drilling them out, and then eventually making a captive nut. So what I think I'm going to do on these is just drill them and run a bolt through with a nut on the back side and try and tack weld them as best I can, or weld them on the back to make them captive nuts, and then that'll make that easier to use. 1, 2. Maybe I can do it this way. Yeah, there we go. You can do a lot by pinching stuff against your back gut. Drilled them. We're going to weld those on the back side, on both sides, and then that'll give us a thread to bolt into. And this will be well, I think we'll sand it and make it prettier, but it'll be done. I'm going to let that cool, and I think we'll weld up the steering linkage. So I've got this rigged up to where I'm going to try and weld around the whole thing. I'm a little nervous about the exchange, but I'm going to try and start here so I don't have to go the full circle around it. But I really want to try and do a real nice job and have them look nice. So hopefully that's what happens. Oh, well, that was not how I planned to do it. But I do think they turned out fine. I'm not mad at it. I wish I could have done them all in one seam, but yeah, probably wouldn't be anything I built if that were the case. I believe those will hold. And that's not even cleaned up. I'm pretty excited with how that steering column shaft, how that steering shaft turned out. Pretty pleased. Got our bracket done. Let's put this bad boy back together. I still need to find another screw for this. That won't be hard. Fish that through. All right. Okay. This is genuinely my first try at steering the truck. Look at that. Oh, that is a magnificent beast. Look at that. I have steering. And a mounted console and a mounted seat. Oh, look at that. Well, I think that's where we're going to end this one. I will get that painted. I want to paint them so they don't rust again. I hope that you've liked this episode. If you have, consider subscribing, hit the like button, leave a comment, tell me what you like, what you didn't like. If you want, check me out on Instagram. I'm UpwardPenny, all one word. If you like these shirts and you'd be interested in one, let me know. I don't know if anybody would be or not, but I've gotten a lot of positive feedback and my family really liked them, and I don't know, I think they're kind of funny. And till the next time, just remember that just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you can't figure it out and you can't learn. Just go out there, give it a shot, and keep trying. See you next time.